This is a demo of the CytoCave visualization system for the HuMap2 protein complex and interaction database. This particular visualization was generated by a search of the BRCA2 gene. So these four complexes are the ones that it's involved in. So CytoCave has these two viewports, a left and a right viewport. They can display the same data set or different data sets, and either the same or different coordinate systems for each data set. So we have the CFMS cofractionation elution data set. There are two of them, 1 and 2. We'll change this one to 2. Well, these are replicates, so they'll be the same. And so I have two different coordinate systems, the flat linear coordinate system, which is straight, or I also have a square coordinate system that I've pre-computed where they're arranged in a square. So the two viewports can be used in a variety of free-form ways for comparing different data sets, or for maybe focusing in on a particular complex in one viewport while keeping a map of all of the complexes in the other viewport for reference. And the views are linked so that hovering or clicking on one node in one viewport will highlight and select the other one, and the matching one in the corresponding one in the other viewport. The various features here are so you can select the data set or the coordinate system. You can use a sync button to sync one coordinate system to the other. That only works if you're really in the same coordinate system, though. So you can get a really good look at this complex here. So you have the legend down here, so you can see the red one has the ID HuMap2 06337. So this legend allows you to make it to toggle to cycle between fully visible, translucent, or make it disappear entirely. And then you just click on it and make it come back. You can do that with any of the complexes. You can adjust the opacity of the edges. Now the edges, their thickness is proportional to the protein interaction strength between the pair of proteins that it connects. But you can adjust the overall opacity of the edges to kind of fine-tune the display. So you can turn the skybox off. We're back on with the skybox button. You can adjust the sizes of all the nodes. These sliders are linked together, but they can be unlinked with these lock checkboxes. So this one, the one that's between the left sphere and box sizes, links the boxes and spheres. Oh, there aren't any boxes in this data set. Well, those are to come. Right now all the proteins are represented by spheres. We'll just leave these locked, but these locks can separate the left and right sphere sizes. Now you can adjust the threshold that determines the visibility of a node. So the closer this is to 0, the more lower confidence, the lower interaction strength, protein-protein interactions edges are allowed to be visible. So the higher we set the threshold, the higher the interaction strength. It'll have to the proteins will have to be interacting at a higher strength to have a visible edge. So if we set it pretty high, the bar's pretty high, we don't see any edges connecting any proteins. So if we start kind of lowering the threshold, the highest confidence edges will start appearing. And the threshold mode can be changed to top N. So right now the top 5 proteins interacting with each protein are displayed. The top 5 edges, and you can go up to 20. So, but there aren't any proteins that interact with 20 other proteins in this data set. So we can lower it to say maybe the top 2, the top 1. So now each protein's top 1, only the highest, the strongest interacting partner for each protein is visible right now. Now also you can show the line plot, so every time you click on a node, if it's CFMS elution data is available in the data set, it'll display, it'll occupy the next available of these 8 line graphs. So you can compare the elution plots of interacting proteins if they're available, and examine the evidence that went into the deciding whether the proteins are really interacting or not. You have these VR buttons. You can maybe select I have a layout that's particularly 3-dimensional there, so I can enter VR and browse this in 3D. You can use the thumbsticks on these VR controllers. The left thumbstick controls I guess your roll and your pitch. The left, or that was the left thumbstick. The right thumbstick controls your yaw and your kind of accelerates you forward and back. And when you point to a node and click on it, you can select it. Well, that one doesn't have any elution data, so we didn't get any display. But now this one does. So its elution line plot showed up in the heads-up display, and you can compare up to 8 of them. Yeah, MLF doesn't have anything, neither does BRCA2. There, Synerg has a line plot, so that appeared in the heads-up display. So yeah, sometimes for large, highly interacting protein complexes, it's easier to see them in VR. You can see the lines separated a little better. I'm also planning on adding actual protein structures to this visualization, so you'll be able to inspect the 3D protein structures in 3D. Well, thanks for watching. And take the headset off and it takes you back out of VR. Click the... You can still rotate around the other display that isn't projecting into VR. You can't really rotate the display that's in VR, but you can hit exit VR and you can get your display back. Now there's also the color coding drop down. So right now the complex ID determines the color code, so that each complex has its own color. And then we can also select confidence as the color code. This isn't too informative right now because apparently all the complexes in this data set have a confidence level of 5, which is the highest. Well, we can put this back on complex ID. And there's also a search button, a feature, so you right click on the background and you can, there's the search panel, so you can put in your gene of interest like BRCA2, and coming up in white. Hit search and it shows up down there. And you can click on it and select it. And if it's selected, it's excluded from future searches. So if you search again, you find its counterpart in the other complex. and select that. And then it comes up in this complex. And you search again, it comes up in the fourth and final complex. If you search and it doesn't find anything, it shows a pop-up right there. Right click and get the main GUI back. You can show the elution line plots and hide them. We can show them and hide them with this button. Well, that's about it. Thanks for watching.